Hey there everyone, welcome to Violet's Dream Tarot. So today we're going to be doing the general June predictions. There will also be a separate love predictions reading for June as well, probably the next video that I film after this one. So as I said, general predictions for June, that can cover any area of your life. I'm not focusing specifically on one area, we're just going to see what comes out in each pile. I want to say a big thank you to all of my lovely subscribers. Thank you to you for being here, whether or not you are subscribed, and thank you to all of my lovely patrons as well, including Alexandra, Kelly, Mia, Cara, Alison, and Lena. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for your kindness and for the love that you continually show my work and me personally as well. Please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. That massively helps out my channel, and it also means that you never miss an upload. So let's take a look at the piles today. I've put angel cards on each pile. These may not be angels that you are familiar with, so you might learn about a brand new angel here today. So just focus on June. You don't have to have any particular question in mind, but you might want to phrase it as something like, what's coming up for me in June? What can I expect in June or over the next month? Or you might have a particular question that you are hoping to get an answer for today that is connected to something that may or may not happen in June, so you can ask that as well if you wish to, but just focus in on that now and we'll take a closer look at the piles. So on group 1 we have Shelegiel, Angel of Snow, and we will be using the Starseed Tarot for group 1. On group 2 we have Matariel, Angel of Rain, and we'll be using the Tarot in Wonderland for group 2. And then on group 3 we have Suchlaph, Angel of Verdancy, and we'll be using the Fey Tarot for group 3. So whichever pile or piles is calling out to you, that will be the reading that is the most accurate for you. Choose with your intuition, not just based on your favorite deck or your favorite looking angel. Really choose the one that is really calling out to you. It's fine if you choose more than one if you really can't pick. Take the messages that resonate and leave what doesn't. As always, this is not a private reading, this is a general reading on YouTube. And when you guys are ready, I will get started with pile number 1. Hey there group 1, welcome to your reading. If you chose Shelegiel, Angel of Snow, and the Starseed Tarot, this is going to be your reading. So Shelegiel, being the Angel of Snow, brings to mind purity and innocence, as well as fresh starts, new beginnings, grace as well. When you think of the feeling of seeing the first snow falling, there's an enormous feeling of grace that accompanies that. So that could be connected to your reading or connected to a particular experience that you'll have in June or the overall atmosphere of that month for you. Let's see what the tarot cards have to say. Please do consider subscribing as well if you haven't already, group 1. That really helps me out. It's a lovely way to show your support and appreciation for the work that I do, and it also means that you will never miss out on any videos that I upload in the future. So from your tarot, we've got the Temperance card as your first card. That's Sagittarius energy. Then we have the World, so 2 major arcana cards, quite significant. And wow, the Hermit. Okay, so they're all major arcana cards. So June is likely to be quite a significant month for you. Group 1, with the Hermit, there is some soul searching. That's Virgo's energy. With the Temperance card, there is this coming into balance, and there's this feeling of restfulness, like you're moving away from extremes and finding this healthy, balanced moderation, healthy lifestyle, improving not only physical health but also mental and emotional health as well. And then with the World, there is this sense of completion. So for some of you, June marks the ending of something and then moving on to something new. So it could be that some of you are graduating in June, that some of you are moving house, moving jobs, changing relationships. Some of you may be going from one level of a relationship to the next one, like going from being a couple to getting engaged, or getting engaged to being married, etc. Having children. Obviously the World we associate with Gaia, the Earth Mother. So there's an interesting message there about things changing. in June. There is some kind of milestone or some feeling of this is me moving on, or this is me moving to the next level. So our next card is going to be from the lovely new Starseed Oracle from the very generous Cara. So thank you so much, Cara, for sending in this gorgeous new deck. Really love it already. So excited to use it. Let's get a message. Group 1 in June. Wait. Okay, it's not yet time. Things are being woven. Okay, well that makes sense. I love the imagery on this deck. It makes sense because it fits with the Hermit, this sense of soul searching and thinking about things and really taking some time to mull things over. Equally, Temperance has this element of waiting to it. Temperance kind of draws attention to the fact that we need to slow down in order to get things done, or we need to, as I said, come into that path of moderation. From a time of lack or excess, those extremes, those polarities, we come to the middle ground, which is much easier to tread, and which means that we have a much leveler head as well. So I think that's feeding into your June. And then the world, possibly if you are ending some kind of cycle, like I said, if you're having a big move, or you're graduating, or getting onto the property ladder, or moving on in your relationship, or something like that, there is often that intermittent period where it kind of feels like, well, what do I do now? You know, okay, so I've graduated, or I've left my job and I'm moving into a new one, but in this period where maybe I've got to wait to start my new job, but I've already finished my old one, or maybe I'm, you know, graduated and I don't start work yet, or I've come onto maternity leave, or I've even started my new job or moved into my new house, but I'm not quite settled there yet. There's that intermittent period where you think, well, what am I going to do now? And you might have only been planning up to that world moment. So you might have only made plans up until the graduation, or up until the new job starts, or you go on to the maternity leave or something, and you haven't planned in advance of that. You left that very open. And so it's like thinking, well, I'd like to have a plan. You know, what am I going to do in my next few months after this? And it's just saying you don't need to know quite yet, or it's fine to take some time to mull that over. Don't feel as though you need to have that concrete plan straight away. So on the emotional aspect in June, we have naivete, number 62, naivety, and also manipulation, number 72, manipulation. And I think these two are feeding into the same feeling that I've just been talking about you wanting to have this plan so that you don't feel foolish, or so that your lack of preparation doesn't push you into being played or forced by someone else, or forced by circumstances even, to make a decision on the spot. I do get the feeling that a lot of you are planners and people who like to have an idea and like to know in advance what they're doing. Not necessarily a full-on 5-year plan for your life, but at least to know 6 months into the future what that looks like for you, roughly. Obviously, you can't control everything, but knowing in general what's going to be happening. And I think now that you've reached this milestone, or you're about to come into this point where a big phase of your life ends and a new life begins, you're thinking, well, I really don't want to be foolish. You know, by leaving myself open, I don't want to be making the wrong decisions, or I don't want to leave it so long that I then am forced by circumstances to make a choice. But please know that in June, it's fine to wait. It's fine to put things off and to not have all the answers straight away. So hopefully that will eliminate some anxiety for some of you in June. So here we've got Ermächtigung, number 61. That's a nice card. I always struggle to translate this perfectly into English because it literally means something like strengthening or empowerment. Macht in German, which you can see here, it means might or power. So it's probably empowerment, I would say, but it's more like making someone mightier, making someone stronger and more able to get things done. So there's a sense of empowerment, or possibly becoming stronger emotionally or physically in June through the choices that you make lifestyle wise. And then we've got a lovely card, Glückliche Überraschung, number 72, happy surprise. And that's really, really nice. Things work out maybe better than you expected, or there's some happy surprise that you, you know, obviously weren't expecting because it's a surprise, but something happens in a way that's just like, oh, that's lovely. Or someone does something really kind for you that comes out of nowhere. You've also got the repeated number 72, and it's kind of almost a repeated sequence because you have 62, 72, and then 61, 72. So that could have some meaning for some of you. The number 72 boils down to a 9 in numerology, which is the Hermit. It's the number of completion and introspection and endings, so that all fits in with your reading so far. Earth Angel, wow. Number 4, kindness, sensitivity is strength, higher perspective, divine abilities. So being kind in June doesn't mean that you are an Earth Angel necessarily, but that you at least identify with the experiences of Earth Angels in June. One of the biggest problems for Earth Angels is boundaries. They are very compassionate people, very, very empathetic. They easily take on the feelings and problems and worries of other people, and that means that they end up pleasing everyone else and leaving themselves at the bottom of the pile. So that could be an indication as to what you need to do in June, because that again is where we've got the manipulation coming through again. You might feel like someone's trying to push you to make a decision sooner, or someone's trying to push you down a particular road, like to say, okay, do this, it's better that you do this, or it's important that you decide to do this, and you know, you want to have some more time to think things through or to research it better. So it's important that you just set that boundary for yourself in June and don't let anyone try and make you feel bad about that. Then we have Stars in the Sky, Limitless Possibility, number 51, and that is such a lovely card. I really, really like that card. I just think it's beautiful how it talks about this limitless possibility, the infinite possibilities and opportunities that are within you and within life and the universe. You also have Repairing the Veil, Forgiveness, number 45. It's another number that boils down to 9. So forgiveness, I mean, that could be towards yourself or another. It could be about sort of reconciling differences with another person, or letting go of conflict from the past, or choosing to move on from times where you were hurt. Forgiving doesn't mean condoning the actions of another. It just means that you don't carry around that pain and anger with you anymore. It means that you choose to move on from it, like this lovely butterfly that we see in the card. Beautiful yellow butterfly. Butterflies obviously symbolize moving on, evolution, liberation, all of which seems to be connected to your message for June. I also like the lotus flower in this card because that's about opening up. Nautilus Princess, powerful personal growth. Yes, absolutely. Number 41. See how there are so many symbols here, like the lotus and like the stars, of you expanding, like the Nautilus sort of grows exponentially bigger and bigger and bigger in that spiral. Again, we seem to have a bit of a sequence of numbers here because we've gone 61, 51, 41. So if this has any meaning for you, please take it on board. I used to never pay attention to the numbers when I first started doing readings, and then I started calling them out because a lot of people were interested, and then recently we've started seeing a lot more number sequences or repeated numbers, and now I just see it all the time. So it might have no meaning for you personally, or it might have a lot of meaning. It doesn't have to have a meaning, but just take it on board. Things to look out for in June. Commander Ashtar, Call to Action. Take charge, lead by example, walk your talk. That's a lovely card. It definitely resonates with that Earth Angel message about not letting anyone manipulate you, about setting down your boundaries, but also lead by example and walk your talk. You know, that's like when you start to succeed, or when you start to live your ideal life and lifestyle, you subconsciously give other people permission to do the same. So you might feel like, I'm afraid to follow my passions in case people try and, cut me down, or in case people are threatened even by my success or my happiness. But actually, by dimming your light, you do no one any favors. Like, you're doing everyone a disservice, especially yourself. But also, sure, it might please someone in the short term to see you dim your light and see you put back in your place, so to speak, from their perspective, or to see you just quietly getting on with life and not making any fuss. But in the long term, that doesn't help them, because it also stunts their growth as well. Whereas to see you flourishing, yes, in the short term, that might bring up feelings of envy or feelings of aggression or anger or jealousy. But that's their shadow being thrown back in their face, like you acting as a reflective surface, almost like a mirror for the things that they need to work on. And if they choose to do so, then in the long term, everyone's better off, because then they start off the chain of events where other people see them start to heal and start to live their best life, and they start to see that that's possible for them as well, and so on and so forth. So I think that's a really powerful image to take. There's also a lot of starseed imagery in your reading as well. Highly likely that you're a starseed group 1. Heart of Source, all-encompassing love, unconditional acceptance, serenity. So in June, just like the Earth Angel, you're kind of spreading unconditional love in as best you can. You're trying to, improve the world in that way. You're trying to get in this space of unconditional love, which includes forgiveness. It includes being loving to another person, even if being loving means loving them enough to tell them no, loving them enough to have boundaries around them. Loving someone doesn't always mean capitulating to their demands. Stag Spirit, take the lead, number 58. So there's a repeated message. So you shouldn't be afraid of taking on responsibility in June, or taking the lead when it comes to relationships, plans, group projects, ideas, just getting things done in general. You might be someone that often likes to get kind of like the green light from other people before taking something on board. You might think, okay, I really want to do this, but I want to feel like I've got permission, or like other people have justified or validated that this is the right thing for me to do by saying, oh yeah, that sounds great, or yeah, go for that, or I'd love to do that, or something. But actually in June, you should just follow your gut. You shouldn't feel the need to consult other people in that way. Then we have Facing Your Fears, number 46. Look for ways to strengthen your connection to the universe and others. Stay peaceful and calm in the knowing of who you are. The lovely lionfish there. So face your fears. Don't hold back. Don't feel bullied, manipulated, threatened, forced by anyone else, as I mentioned. Take your time. Follow your own gut. Number 2, I wonder what will happen next. Ready to adventure, precipice of change, pause before action. So this all makes sense. Group 1, in June, it feels like there is this ending or this closure for you where you're ready to move on to the next phase of your life, but there is just a little bit of an adjustment period in between where you finished the first chapter, but the second one doesn't start yet. There's a little bit of a, sometimes on a book you get a blank page where a chapter is just finished because they want it to look nicer and more presentable in the book. You're basically on the blank page for a few weeks or a few days, and that's something that you've got to adjust to. Interestingly enough, the base card for this deck is Lead the Way, number 12. Be a leader, show others how it's done, you can help others. I think that's really, really lovely. Let's just get a few more cards, group 1, and then we'll move on to your charms and dice for your extra messages. We've got the children in the land of sweets, awe, wonder, amazement, recognition of unlimited possibilities. You know, it really feels like in June you're starting to realize, oh my goodness, actually I can do this thing that I never thought possible. I can do it. And there's also the two knights going into battle. They're sort of steampunk, like they're made of gears. They also have this connection to timing and clocks as well. That shield is a clock. They look like they might be within a big clock, so there's maybe a clash of deadlines, or there's an issue with timing perhaps, or like I said, it's just you going against another person's ideology and you needing to lay down the fact that actually you don't have to do what they want you to do. Pillar of light, your vibration is rising. You are the oracle. That is gorgeous. So definitely this huge message of you being this leader in June, even if you've never seen yourself in that way, even if you're the most shy, retiring type of person in the world who never makes a fuss, never draws any attention to themselves, never speaks up, your vibration is rising in June. You are becoming more aware of your divine mission that you accepted for this lifetime and the intentions that you set for this lifetime before incarnating. And it is your, or part of your mission in June, to lead by example, to take charge, to take the lead, to show other people how it's done. The base card for this deck is the initiation, rite of passage, crossing the threshold. So really fitting with the messages that we've received. Let's get an advice card to finish up the card section of your reading. So your advice is, last quarter moon in Virgo, attend to the details. So start thinking things through in June, basically. Looking at pros and cons, base card, assess the situation. Also Virgo, first quarter moon in Virgo. That could be quite a strong sign for you, given that we've got the Hermit, which is obviously Virgo. That could be sun, moon, rising, or quite strongly placed within your birth chart. So attend to the details, pros and cons lists, really thinking things through, but don't make any decisions, at least in the early part of June. Leave it a little bit longer so that you're completely sure that you've seen through all of the implications, or you've thought through all of the possibilities. So let's get your charms now, group one, and then we'll do your dice. So this one fell out while I was shuffling. This is the Chamber of Secrets entrance charm. This basically means when you go through a tough time, or you open a can of worms, or you deal with inner demons, or, you know, stuff that is deep within your psyche and your shadow self, it's something that needs to be done. It's basically like, the analogy that I use is like, you can't leave the monster under the castle forever. You know, you've got to deal with it, you've got to get rid of it, you've got to face up to it, going back to that facing your fears card. You can't just let it fester indefinitely, otherwise it's only going to get stronger, or it's only going to sort of plague you for longer, if that makes sense. So being very brave in June, which is then backed up by the fearless charm, which it's always lovely to receive. We do have the worry thread, symbolizing worry or anxiety. That's completely normal. The little bunny represents mischief and play. It also represents children in your life that are important to you, whether they're your own children or other people's children. It represents your inner child as well. We've got the screwdriver, making something more stable, fixing something. That makes sense given that it's landing on the weight card. Like, your mind will be a lot firmer, a lot more made up if you give yourself more time to think things through rather than just rushing a decision. You will have a lot of insight in June into a particular situation. We also have Live, Love, Laugh, which is about enjoying every moment, enjoying the small things, not letting life run away with you to the point where you forget to breathe and you forget to enjoy it. You have the Hand of Fatima, also known as the Hamsa. That's a very powerful protective charm that lets you know that you're protected from a higher source in June, which it's always lovely to know. And then we have I love football, which is a charm that lets us know that in June you will be doing something that you really enjoy, something connected to your hobbies or your passions or your real interests, not just things that you do to fill up time, but things that you genuinely enjoy. Let's see what the dice have to say. So we're rolling the second set of dice. Those are the original dice. Let me just get them. These ones. Okay, how many dice are we rolling for group 1, please? 7. Okay, great. So let's roll those dice for you. Okay, so group 1, what do we have here? We've got the person who is sleeping. So this could be feeling tired, or it could be catching up on rest. It could even be dreaming as well, a bit more abstract. Dreaming of doing something, or your dreams being really important and vivid in June. We've got the person with the parachute, someone who is escaping or bailing from a situation, so getting out of a tricky experience, or doing something that takes you out of your routine, perhaps. Maybe it is, like I've said, you've moved job, but you've got this interim period, or you have moved house or graduated or something, and that really changes what your day-to-day life is like, because you're no longer living that particular routine that you've had built up for so long. You have the lightning strike, epiphanies, sudden change, revelations. The sheep, that is a zodiac marker for anyone born in the Chinese year of the sheep or goat. It also means following what other people do, but that's not for you to do in June. That might be what comes naturally to you, is just waiting for someone to suggest something and then doing that as well. But for you in June, it's very, very important that you take the leadership role and that you lead by example. So I'm going to keep saying it because it's obviously very important that your spiritual team want to convey this to you. And I do get the feeling that for a lot of you, it is quite an alien thing. So please try and get comfortable with that idea of being a leader or speaking up or walking your talk and leading by example. We have the torch leading the way, showing you what to do, showing you the path in front of you. And then the tent, which is about community and holidays, and also temporary situations as well, things that don't last very long, things that are quickly worked out or resolved, or a little bit of, like I said, a temporary interim period where everything feels a bit makeshift for a while, and then you settle down and you get into a new routine. And your last dice is the turtle, things going slowly, going with the flow, not rushing or pushing against the current, just allowing yourself to be a little bit more zen and chilled and enjoying things. Do you know what, group 1? I think I'll actually get you a couple of tokens as well, just to add a couple of final messages to your reading. I always like to get as many messages as possible, so my readings are kind of on the longer end of YouTube readings. I always go super detailed and use different mediums, but I just wanted to finish up with some tokens, group 1. Okay, so creation, new starts. That could literally be connected to those of you that are having a child or trying to start a family. Like I said, some of you might be on maternity leave or entering that phase of your life. Creation just means new beginnings as well, though, or allowing something to grow and be nurtured that you've already had on the back burner or that you've been working on for a while. Backpack makes me think of having everything you need. It also makes me think of this sort of tent, makeshift, temporary situation. It makes me think of travel and movement, and also a little bit of a burden, given the image of the backpack. It looks quite heavy. Worries or things that are grinding you down a little bit. But again, I think it doesn't last very long in June. And then Hand of God, connection with the divine, feeling touched by something a lot higher than yourself. Hand of God can also indicate events that happen completely unexpectedly, but it's the divine working in your life, you know, signs and synchronicities, miracles, blessings, things that change at the last moment, at the 11th hour, saving you, the lightning, the sudden change. So yeah, I think that's a lovely one to receive, especially that can be very comforting, especially given that you've got the Hamsa, the Hand of Fatima there as well. So group 1, that's your reading. I really, really hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's given you some things to look forward to and some things to think about as well. Please let me know in the comments what you thought of your reading. I would love to hear from you. Please like, share and subscribe as well if you enjoyed it, because that massively helps me out. And do check out the links below as well if you want to get involved in the work that I do. I have my Patreon, my Instagram, my Etsy, all linked below, where you can book private services with me, support me, learn astrology with me, and get daily oracle cards on Instagram. I have my wish lists linked below for anyone who wants to send in a new deck like the very lovely Cara did, and I have my PayPal link for tips and donations. So for anyone who wants to get involved, please do so. Thank you to everyone for your kindness. Thank you to you for being here. Take care and have a lovely June, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye. Hey there, group 2, welcome to your reading. If you chose Matariel, Angel of Rain, and the Tarot in Wonderland, this is going to be your reading. So we're going to see what's coming up for you in June. So with Matariel as the angel that you chose, this suggests that there is going to be some nourishment in June. When we think of the rain, we think of how it waters everything so that it can grow, but also there is a kind of a sadness or a reflectiveness to this angel. I think when you see how the angel is portrayed in this particular image, it looks almost like it's crying. So we do think of the gloominess that rain brings as well. And also now it's making me think, given that you've picked the Tarot in Wonderland, of that scene in Alice in Wonderland where she's crying, Alice is crying, and she fills up the room with water so much that she's swimming around in it. So yeah, there's a little bit of a double meaning to the rain there. I'm curious to see what your reading is going to bring in. So let's see what's coming up in June. Group 2, I would love it if you would subscribe if you haven't already. That really helps out my channel. It's a lovely way to show your appreciation for the work that I do, and it means that you will never miss out on any videos that I upload in the future. Okay, group 2. So we have got 8 of Cups as your first card. Cups card, interesting because this is a very watery type of angel. Ace of Cups as well. And then the Moon, which is Pisces energy, so water again. And the 3 of Swords. Okay, so Pisces, as I said, is showing up so far in your reading. It feels like there's a bit of a whirlwind of emotions in June for you, group 2. There's a sense of leaving something behind and having a new beginning, and that being quite overwhelming. Okay, so with the 8 of Cups, this suggests that you feel done with something, that you choose to walk away from something, that you feel burnt out or overwhelmed even. And as a result, something comes to an end. And then the Ace of Cups indicates this immediate new beginning, this fresh start, these lovely new feelings, this new experience. So with the 8 of Cups, I mean, this could be you walking away from a relationship. It could be you pulling back from a friendship, maybe, where you feel disappointed or hurt by that person. It could be that you're overwhelmed with work, and so you're looking for somewhere new. Which might happen quicker than you expected in June, maybe. It could be that you're looking to move house. It could even be just something like, you know, you've got exams to sit or something, and it's burning out, you know, it's tiring, it's stressful, but also it marks the ending of an academic year, or for some of you, a course completely, or a degree at university, or a training course at work. So it is like an ending and then a new beginning. But I do get the sense that there is some self-doubt in June, because with the Moon, this does indicate that there are some doubts or worries, that you're worried you might have made the wrong decision with regards to walking away or how you choose to do something. There's some anxiety there. The Three of Swords also brings about sadness and heartache or guilt. So I'm curious to see what the Oracle cards will say, because this is just the opening to our reading, but these are the sort of feelings that we're already getting. Let's take a look at your emotions in June more clearly. So what have we got? We have sich verlieben, number 23, falling in love. I mean, this is a heart-shaped cake, so it could be matters of the heart that are concerning you. We have mangelnder Selbstwert, number 66, low self-worth or lacking self-esteem. And then number 36, Glück, happiness or good luck. So I don't feel as though you're making the wrong choice, group 2, or I don't feel like it's something that is gonna hang over you for a long time. I just feel like you do something in June, or you come to a conclusion in June, and that leaves you questioning yourself, or it leaves you thinking like, you know, am I going to regret this? Or even looking back and thinking, have I wasted like X number of months or years of my life doing this thing, or being with this person, or working in this job? You know, there's some worry there. So the self-esteem issues, I think, is coming from doubting yourself. But we do have these other two lovely cards nearby, which suggest that you have support from others, and that you do have this sense of contentment within yourself, or that you get a lucky break of some kind in June, and that's lovely to see. Then we have number 21, Langeweile, boredom. That definitely fits with the Eight of Cups, this feeling of like, I don't want to do this anymore, or I'm tired of this, I'm sick of this, I want to move on to something else. And number 75, Heilung, healing. So there are opportunities for healing in June. That might be emotional healing, spiritual healing, mental healing, but it could be physical healing as well. If you've been suffering physically, like I said, from burnout, from tiredness, from the long-term effects of stress, which can be very, very physical in nature. If you've been suffering from any kind of sickness or injury, June brings about an opportunity for that to improve. And that isn't normally the angle that I would take when I get a healing card. Normally I talk about healing in terms of healing our shadow self, or healing ourself emotionally, but I felt really pushed to say physical in June. So for a lot of you, that's a very welcome message. Now we're going to get a message from the brand new Starseed Oracle, which the very lovely Cara has kindly donated to the channel. So thank you so much, Cara, for this gorgeous deck. I absolutely love it, and I am really, really excited to use it for you. Group 2. Okay, we have Water Your Garden. Wow! That's incredible, given that you picked the Angel of Rain and I was just talking about nourishment. Wow. Nourishment, body care. Group 2, that's amazing. Tenderness and rest. Wow, okay. Yeah, you really need to look after yourself from a physical perspective in June, Group 2. It feels like you've been pushing yourself too far, or you've been really stressed, really not getting enough sleep. Like I said, you might have been sitting exams, or you might have been working overtime or working really hard to get a project done before a deadline. You might have just been juggling, you know, kids, work, life, and all of the sort of life admin that comes with running a household, and it's just gotten too much. And in June, you need to take care of yourself. So body care, obviously that's something you can do yourself. You can relax, you can rest, you can eat better and stay hydrated, especially given that you've picked this pile, and sleep well. But also it could mean that you literally check yourself into a retreat, or go on holiday, or get a massage, or do some yoga or something that really has that positive effect on your body. You also have the card Trust the Timing. Trust the wave you came in on. Time is not running out. So you might feel in June like you're being spread very thinly in terms of time, like you don't have time to get everything done. You're running out of time, you're stressed, especially for those of you who have deadlines, exams, job applications, documents to sign, like all those kinds of things. You might genuinely feel like it's all getting on top of you and it's just not going to happen, but genuinely, time isn't running out. You're going to be fine. You're going to have enough time to do whatever it is that you need to do. So then we have multi-dimensional, number 4, multiple dimensions, timelines, be you, don't even try to fit in. I love that card. Don't feel as though you need to do something differently or follow anyone else's expectations of who you should be or what you should be doing. Don't try and force yourself to fit into anyone else's schedule or definitions. Start taking care of yourself in June and put yourself front and center. It looks like from the other cards that you've received that people are going to be understanding of that in June. So if that's something you're worried about, that you're not going to get support, I don't think that's something that you do need to be worried about. So then your next cards are Stars in the Sky, Limitless Possibility, number 51. I love that card, and Group 1 got that card as well, so it's really nice to see that as a collective message. Closing Door, Completion, number 5. So like I said, choosing to walk away from something, finish something, leave something behind, something is no longer serving you, or something has come to an end, and you get this instant new beginning with the Ace of Cups. I am Kali. From death comes rebirth. Oh my goodness. Number 13. How many times are we going to get this message? Maybe some of you are struggling to see how it could happen so suddenly, so instantly. Transformation. So there you go. There's your message. There's your confirmation, Group 2. Canonos, Life Force, express your driving passion, sensual and sexual powers are increased. So that definitely fits in with this message of taking care of yourself physically. Your energy and power increasing. Okay, plenty of cards from this deck. Let's see what we have. Stellar Gateway Activation, Infinite Potential, Manifestation Vortex. That's amazing because you got that card as well about Limitless Possibility. So really the world is your oyster in June, Group 2, and you have the little oysters on this card as well. So that's another repeated message. Ancestral Realm, Karmic Release, Healing the Lineage, Boundaries. And Hathor Light Codes, Light Immersion, Full System Upgrade, Power Recall. That fits in with Canonos and the multi-dimensional message, and all of these messages about limitless possibility and taking care of your body. Ancestral Realm and Karmic Release, Healing the Lineage, Boundaries. This does suggest that there is a relationship that you're being a lot firmer about in June. It doesn't have to be ancestral in the terms of like a family connection, but it does seem like someone is pushing your buttons in June and you've just decided, no, I'm not going to put up with it anymore. Crow Spirit, co-create with Spirit, number 17, becoming aware of the fact that you do not have to do this by yourself and that you're in fact meant to co-create with Spirit. It is a dual dance between yourself and the universe, not just you fighting relentlessly to get something done by yourself and pushing, or you just praying and hoping that that means everything will be sorted for you, but actually a co-creation. Okay, you got this special card. So I accidentally packed this card by mistake in with a deck that it doesn't belong to. This is from the Divine Circus Oracle, so I'll need to return this back to the Divine Circus deck when I get it back, because I'm at my other address currently. And I haven't taken it out of the deck that I packed it in with erroneously, because I thought maybe sometimes there will be that message coming through for someone and that's important. To date it hasn't happened, but now it just has. So you have Cherry on Top, number 26, and this is a lovely, lovely message to receive, Group 2, because it just means that you're going to have that icing on the cake in June. Something great is going to happen, and then something's going to happen that makes it all the sweeter, like even better for you to have experienced that. Cherry on top means that you'll soon have something to celebrate. It means that you have things to look forward to, that things are going to work out nicely for you. And possibly even better than you could have imagined, or even better than you could have designed it for yourself. So that's why it's important to co-create with Spirit, because Spirit knows best, and Spirit can bring in things that you didn't even know that you wanted, or that you weren't even aware that you were allowed to ask for. So that is a gorgeous message to receive. Nature communication, number 37, flower energies, fairy energies, elemental messengers. So there's a strong connection with the elementals for you in June, which fits, I guess, with your focus being upon your body, because the elementals are naturally connected to Earth. So they work on lower vibrations than beings like gods like Hathor, for example, and Kali and Kaunanos. Didn't realize actually how many deities you got in your reading. And other higher dimensional beings like angels, for example. The elementals work at lower vibrations. So for some of us, they can be easier to connect with because they're not so far removed. They sort of live adjacent to us rather than above us, if that makes sense. You have this card with the book flying off the shelves in the library and being illuminated. This always makes me think of the Akashic Records. So this could be something to do with the karma that you're dealing with, and that you're putting to an end something that was written about in your Akashic Records. It also does make me think on a more mundane level of studying, though, or learning something, or reading, writing, journaling, keeping a diary. And you have this card with the Kraken and the Dragon, which always makes me think of being stuck between a rock and a hard place, when you feel like you've got to do something difficult regardless of the choice that you make. There's a difficult journey to get to wherever it is that you want to be. So I definitely see June being an emotional roller coaster. I don't want to downplay that for you, because I see you being stressed and tired and frustrated, even to the point of tears, feeling like things are just happening too quickly, deadlines are approaching scarily quickly. But I want you to know, group 2, that you absolutely can do this, and you can have an amazing outcome, like way better than you expected. It's normal to doubt yourself when you're working on a lot of things and when your cup is running dry, but genuinely you can achieve so much, and you should be proud of that. The ever unfolding rose, cracked open. It's happening for you, not to you. And that's a lovely message, because cracked open is this author's way of phrasing when you reach rock bottom and you feel like you've just become cracked open, like you can't fight anymore, or you can't resist any longer. You are completely open for Spirit to come in that moment. So it's a reminder that when you feel so frustrated or down or tired or exhausted, that it's happening for you, not to you. When you ask, why is this happening to me? It's not. It's happening for you. Ultimately, it will help you, as ridiculous as that sounds in the moment. New moon in Cancer, relax. That is your advice card for June, is to relax. Once you've gotten these deadlines or this stress out of the way, relax. It's another water symbol, so water is very, very strong for you in June. Let's move on now to your charms and dice to get your extra messages. That's the card part of your reading out of the way. So charms first, group 2. So you have the birdhouse, which indicates that you want to have more support. In June, you want to have more people around you to help you out, but I genuinely do feel like you do have those people. You might not recognize them at first, or you might not expect them to be there for you, but I do think that there will be support for you in June. Then you have the crown, a reminder of your own sovereignty, to make decisions that are right for you and to not let anyone else bully you or manipulate or coerce you into choosing something that is right for them and not for you. We've also got inner child trauma. So there is healing of your inner child taking place in June. Your inner child becoming stronger and happier and more able to live freely and let go, which has a massive impact on your own personal happiness in the here and now. You've also got the big love heart, which is nice. Some of you may be getting into relationships or deepening your relationship with another in June. Then we have a guardian angel here for you, which is lovely. And the shooting star, which is one of my favorite charms in the tin because it means a wish is going to be granted for you in June or a dream is going to come true. So lovely, lovely message. It definitely fits with the cherry on top card. Really happy that you've gotten that message because it's quite rare to see it, because obviously we don't always get wishes granted very often, or we don't get dreams coming true very often, but it looks like that's going to happen for you in June, so that's something to look forward to. Let's do your dice. Okay, we're rolling the 5th set of dice for you, the actions dice. Let me just get those. These ones. And we're rolling 2 of them for you, so not loads, but I will get some tokens for you as well after this because I did that for group 1. So group 2 dice for group 2. Okay, we've got the person dropping the ball. This fear or worry that you've done something wrong, that you've made the wrong decision, that you've made the wrong choice, that you've been slacking and are now going to feel the consequences for it. I feel all of that for you in June, but I genuinely don't think it's the case. I think it's just natural self-doubt when you're going through a time of stress or when you are getting an awful lot done in your personal life. And then we've got the thief, the burglar, running away with the safe, which is again interesting because it's landing kind of on the cherry on top and co-creation with spirit, and it's making me wonder if you worry that your good fortune or your positive blessing is going to be taken away from you, that you worry that someone's going to say, oh no, actually that's not for you, that's for someone else, or oh no, you don't deserve that, you better share it out, or you better give it back. So there definitely is an issue there with believing in yourself or self-worth in June. Let's finish up with a couple of tokens. Like I mentioned, we would be getting group 2. Okay, so broken pipe. Okay, that indicates an annoyance. That indicates health problems, like I mentioned, potential physical healing in June. I also think it fits in with that saying you can't give from an empty cup, because that is definitely how you start out June, just feeling overwhelmed and stressed. And with broken pipe, you know, it can be fixed, but for a time it feels like you're just exponentially losing energy, and it's causing a massive mess and, you know, potentially like tons of damage to your property and to your life. So I think that fits in with like being someone who's hardworking but who is also exhausted and therefore feels like, what kind of impact is this going to have on my life and how long is it going to go on for? We have moral compass as well, doing the right thing, making sure that you are diligent and always on target. And again, I think this is where the worry and doubt and self-esteem issues come in, because you worry that you've not been doing enough, or that you've been slacking or not kind of working around the clock. And I don't think that you have any need to worry about that. Honestly, group 2, I don't feel any urge from spirit to be like, yeah, you need to do more. You need to, you know, sacrifice this in order to get that done. I'm not feeling that intuitively, and I'm not seeing it in the cards either. So please take that as a message of comfort, group 2. And then Kingdom. Lovely because it's landed right next to the crown charm. Kingdom, I think of your people, your community, which we get with the birdhouse charm. I think of having something to show for all of your hard work. You know, a bit like when we say someone's home is their castle, like your kingdom, it's even bigger. Yeah, something that you have dominion over, something that you feel like you've worked hard to achieve and that you're proud of, as well as that community aspect as well. That's how I see kingdom, finding home as well, potentially, for those of you that are moving. So that's what I'm seeing in your reading group 2. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comments what you think of the reading. If it resonated with you, I would love to hear from you. Please like, share and subscribe as well if you enjoyed the reading, because that massively helps out my channel. It's a lovely way to show appreciation for my work, and it means that you never miss out on a video that I upload as well. And then check out all of my links below. Use the description box or the comment that I post in the comments section to access my Instagram, my Patreon, my Etsy pages. Connect with me there for private services, to support me, to learn astrology with me, to get daily Instagram oracle cards. I have my wish lists linked below as well for anyone who wants to donate, like the very lovely Cara did. Thank you so much again. And I also have my PayPal link as well for donations and anyone who wants to leave a tip. Any amount is very much appreciated and very gratefully received. So thank you to everyone who has done that and everyone who is considering it. Have a lovely rest of your day, Group 2. Thank you so much for being here. Take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye. Hey there, Group 3. Welcome to your reading if you chose Suchlaph, Angel of Verdancy, and the Fey Tarot. This is going to be your reading, and we're going to be seeing what is coming up for you in June. So, obviously, given that you've chosen Suchlaph, the Angel of Verdancy, that suggests that there is some growth coming through for you in June, some creativity perhaps, some nourishment, fertility, all of those things seem to be connected. Maybe also a connection with the natural world. It's a very earth energy card, as you can see. Let's see what your tarot has to say though. And please do consider subscribing if you haven't already, Group 3. That massively helps out my channel. It's a lovely way to show your appreciation for the work that I do, and it means that you never miss out on any videos that I upload in the future. Group 3, June. Okay, so quite a few tarot cards. Let's see what they have to say. You have the Justice card, Libra's energy there. Then you have the Page of Cups, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Quite a few zodiac signs already. Then you have the Three of Wands. Fits with the Angel of Verdancy, I think. The Magician. And Temperance, Sagittarius energy. Really, really like these cards. So, quite a few different messages here. With the Page of Cups, I get the vibe that you will be quite reflective in June and maybe have some psychic insights, more so than you were expecting or that you get normally. Justice and Temperance both talk about balance. Justice suggests that things will work out in a very positive way for you, and Temperance suggests that you are going to be treading the path of moderation in June and improving your health, mental, physical, emotional. I think it was Group 1 that got the Temperance card as well, so it does seem to be a collective message. Then the Magician and the Three of Wands both talk about your ability to create. So the Magician says, you can do this. You don't need anyone else's help or anyone else's permission. You don't need to read anymore or learn anymore. You've got all the information already. You've got everything that you need to be able to create. And then the Three of Wands is about achieving the outcome that you desire. It's about growth. It's also about travel as well. So there could be a holiday coming up or some important travel. Can especially be connected to business travel, the Three of Wands. So let's get some more cards. Lovely start to your reading, some very positive messages there. 3 major arcana cards as well, which suggests that June is going to be quite a significant month for you, or an important month in many ways. So then we have Wollust, number 71, Lust. We also have number 38, Schönheit, beauty. And then number 26, Offenheit, openness. Okay, so in terms of emotions, you do feel drawn towards a particular person or thing. In June with the lust card, lust comes through when we're attracted to the appearance of something or a person, when we feel really drawn towards them, not because of who they are as a person, but because of how we perceive them on the surface, or when we really, really want to buy this particular thing. It's a bit of an impulse buy, or it wouldn't really enhance our lives in any conceivable way, or maybe not in as much of a way as we're trying to tell ourselves that it will enhance our lives because we're just so captivated by the idea of it. Beauty is lovely. That suggests that people perceive you as beautiful. In June, that you feel beautiful. Yeah, that's really, really lovely to see. And then Offenheit, openness, suggests being open to new people, being truthful and honest, being open to spending time with loved ones. It's a really nice card to get as well in quite a subtle, gentle way. Okay. Then we've got Shamanische Kraft, number 89, Shamanic Power. I get a strong Leo vibe from that card. Seifenoper, number 83, Soap Opera. And number 97, Visionnaire, Visionary. So, very, very interesting. Shamanic Power suggests that there is a very strong force of presence that you have in June, that you're really able to bring things about through sheer force of will, through willpower, through the energy of your aura and energy field. That really connects well with the Magician, I think. Soap opera suggests that there are some things happening in June that feel quite dramatic. This could be in your relationships, because it usually is, but it could just be that there's a lot going on circumstances wise, and it feels like you're having to adjust to a lot of things, or things change very quickly, or there's some stress. And visionary suggests that you have this clear idea of what you want to achieve in June, or this clear vision of where you're going. And that's really nice, because in some of the previous readings that I've done today, there's been more of an energy of confusion or uncertainty as to what the future holds. But it feels like you have more of a plan, group 3, or you have a clearer understanding of what you want from life, at least in the near future. This is the gorgeous new, I should introduce it, Starseed Oracle from the lovely Kara. I introduced it properly in the previous 2 readings, but I forgot to do it just now. Thank you so much to Kara for sending in this gorgeous deck. I'm really loving it. I love the imagery, I love the messages, and I'm really excited to use it in this reading. Okay, so we have got All Paths Lead Home, Inner Authority, Intuition, Turn Your Gaze Within. That's a nice message, and definitely I think comforting for those of you that are feeling the soap opera vibe in June and feeling like you're a little bit discombobulated or stressed, or like, what do I do for the best, or what do I focus on here? I love the very bright, sunny colors of your reading so far. Then you have the Blue Flame, Spontaneous Awakening, Activation, Integration Time. That's wonderful. So sudden awakening, sudden epiphanies or realization, rapid spiritual growth and advancement in June. Cities of Light, number 10, Telos, Adama, Inner Earth, Etheric Retreats, Family of Light. Wow, very spiritual reading. Group 3 is usually my most spiritual pile though, so I'm not particularly surprised by this. Cities of Light is about connecting to the beings of light and the guides that live within the earth. So this can be elementals, but it's also things like Lemurians, certain starseeds that are hidden away within the earth, our gatekeepers and guides. And that really connects with your Suchlaph Angel of Verdancy card, I think, that connection to the earth. Seeing beyond the surface of what other people see and knowing that there's a lot going on Beneath the earth. Cosmic womb, the divine feminine, number 6. So that fits in with this creation message. The Three of Wands and the Magician. It fits in with this vibe of gestation, of growth, of you becoming more of yourself. It's a little bit like the Empress card in tarot. It could also be a fertility message though, because we've gotten a few indications of that in your reading with things like the Magician, the Three of Wands, and the Angel of Verdancy. So if that's not something that you are interested in June, please be very careful. Please take the necessary precautions to ensure that you are protected. Strange Valentine, number 27, love is strange. So there does seem to be a relationship for you in June, given that you've got the lust and openness message and justice. It does feel like you're drawn to someone, but you're maybe not very sure why. Or it could be that you're maybe having difficulties in a relationship, but you're choosing to live and let live, or you're kind of enjoying spending time with your partner, even if you're not sure if they're the person that you'll be with forever. You're just enjoying the now and the experience of that relationship in the here and now. Mary Magdalene, wow, Ascended Master Mary Magdalene. Teacher awakens. You have something important to share. Follow the inner call. Do not let anything stop you. That's a nice message. Very vibrant card again. So Mary Magdalene wants you to know that you have this teaching ability. I like the message of awakening because that also fits with some of your previous messages. Don't let anyone stop you from doing what you feel called to do. Seraphim's Gateway. Wow. Voice activation, angelic attunement, divine support. That's beautiful. They are one of the highest frequency beings that we can connect with, the Seraphim. Strong angelic energy surrounding you. Like I said, group 3 is pretty much always the most spiritual reading in any reading. It doesn't have to be spiritually focused. For me, group 3 usually puts a spiritual slant on things that the other 2 readings don't tend to. So you have this connection with the beings of the inner earth. You have the connection with Ascended Master Mary Magdalene and the opportunity to work with her and to learn from her teachings in June. And then you also have this connection with the Seraphim. Grasshopper Spirit, take a leap of faith, number 30. This is especially valid for those of you that do have this intuition that I mentioned with the Page of Cups. In June, I think that you should follow your intuition even if it doesn't make sense at the time, or even if you're not really sure where it's going to lead you. Because that brings us back to this card, all paths lead home. You are going to be put on the right path. Even if it's not the one that you would have consciously chosen to walk, it will lead you to your destination, this vision that you have for yourself. So here we have polite declaration, number 19. You can move in whatever direction you need to accomplish your goals. It is time for you to get out there, claim what is yours, and stay in your power. So there's that message again. You can move in whatever direction you need to accomplish your goals, even the ones that aren't immediately obvious. Love that message. Now we're getting more greens coming through. Number 18, no need to fear. Remember how powerful you are. That's definitely true for those of you that are taking big leaps. Those of you that are making big decisions in June. Remember how powerful you are, how very able you are to create this wonderful life or to achieve this great goal. To rise above drama. Few cards here from the Dixit set. So we've got the elephant with this whole palace on his back. This makes me think of moving or travel, especially moving house. moving from one place to another. Can also mean moving in the sense of like closing off a chapter, a bit like the World card in tarot. That seems to be a collective message as well in June. Pretty much every card has had that kind of, every pile, sorry, has had that kind of message today. Then you have the girl who is in the teardrop crying. This always makes me think of the inner child trauma that you may be experiencing or that might be bottled up within you, something that needs to be addressed. You've got the animal totems with the treasure, the abundance all around them, power animals, tapping into different aspects of yourself, different parts of yourself that can express different things. You don't always need to have the same tactic or approach to getting every single thing done. Transformation, wow. Things are changing at a cellular level. Deep healing. That's a lovely message. So deep change, deep transformation for you in June at this very deep cellular level. Does feel like a pretty powerful month, like with all of these major arcana cards and then these messages about power and such spiritual assistance and spiritual experiences. Some really high vibrational beings that are drawn towards you in June to help you, and if you want to engage with them, they can teach you, or they can offer you healing, or they can offer you assistance. It's all up to you whether you're willing to accept that or not. Then we have first quarter moon in Scorpio, release your blocks, and that is your message of advice for June. The base card is trust all will be well, new moon in Virgo, which is a lovely message. Very comforting and reassuring. So that's the card part of your reading. We're going to move on now to your charms and dice for your extra messages, group 3. Let's see what your charms can tell us first. Okay, so we've got the letter G landing on the Cities of Light card. So that could be someone's name, it could be a word, it could be a place, whatever catches your attention, whatever comes to mind through your intuition with G. We've got the love heart here, so love, unconditional love being your strength, relationships as well, going well in June. We have the lion. Like I said, this card makes me think of Leo. So lion, Leo's energy. This is also a warning against pride. Pride being something that can hold you back or that can restrict you. Healing with the starfish. We have got the rose quartz ball, the love and relationships ball. So that is definitely something that's on your mind a lot in June. The dragonfly, fire elemental, a good luck symbol as well. So fire elementals are around you too. It seems like everyone is around you in June, really reaching out to you. So don't be surprised if you feel like you're getting an awful lot of downloads, or if you're seeing lots of synchronicities, or if you feel overwhelmed even by the messages and assistance that's coming through for you. You've got the chivalry charm. This is about keeping your promises to yourself and to others. If you've said that you're going to do something, make sure you do it. If you've promised yourself you're not going to do that, again, stick to your promise, stick to your word. And then you've got this little sweet unicorn charm and another unicorn, both landing on the same card, visionary. The unicorn is symbolic of Scotland, of course. It's the national animal of Scotland. It's symbolic of uniqueness, purity. And especially with this one, it always makes me think of the inner child. So this then lends itself back to this card. Possibly your inner child needs reminding of their purity. There might be parts of your life where you feel guilty in childhood, or you feel tainted or bad or wrong in some way, and it's important that you remind yourself of your purity, which can't be tainted or taken away from you. So that's a separate message that might only be for some of you, but definitely take it on board if that resonated, because it's a very important message. So group 3, let's now do your dice. So we're rolling the 9th set of dice for you, and those are the Astro dice. Let me just get those. These ones. Let's see how many we're going to roll. Okay, that's a 0, so I'm going to roll again. 5. Okay, we're rolling 5 dice for you. Group 3 in June. Okay, so we've got the person who is like jet skiing upwards. This makes me think of rapid progress, quick forward movement, ascension as well in the spiritual sense, as well as like moving up a level in your life. It could be a promotion, there could be a change of house or job, there could be increased commitment in a relationship that you're in. We've got the meteor crash landing to Earth, endings, changes. I think of epiphanies as well when I see that, and things that like come to you suddenly, downloads, all of those things. We've got the person who's going through some kind of brain experiment, and just for me is so connected to when you feel so frazzled, when you've got like a million and one things to focus on, soap opera message coming through, you know, when you feel like you don't get a moment to yourself mentally. You're always thinking of the next thing that you need to do. When you're laid in bed, when you should be relaxing, you're thinking of all the things you got to do tomorrow, and you've only just finished doing everything that needed to be done today. That kind of frazzled, stressed, always switched on kind of feeling mentally. Then you've got the person who is in this kind of capsule or pod. Makes me think of rejuvenation and renewal, but also about travel, like being transported from one place to another. It's a bit like a teleporting machine, I guess. So there is definitely the opportunity for travel here, but that could also be more metaphorical, as in, like I said with this, going from one level to the next, or doing something where you sort of move from one chapter of your life to the next chapter. And we have the alien queen or leader here as well. So this is all about sovereignty, putting your needs first, making decisions that are right for you rather than doing what other people want you to do, being dignified, being a leader. I will also get a couple of tokens for you as well now, group 3, just to finish up, because I did for the previous 2 groups, just to get even more messages for you. You know how I like to do very detailed readings and get as many different mediums as possible. So June, group 3. Okay, so we have admit 1. This is nice. This is a ticket. Again, travel comes up with tickets. It also talks about events, being a spectator of something. You might go to see a show maybe, or you might go to a special event, stay overnight in a hotel or something like that. Admit 1, I also think of being accepted or welcomed by people. So it could be being promoted or being recognized for the work that you do. It could be this openness on the side of other people, or on the side of yourself, even, like you opening up and saying, yeah, come one, come all. You know, I will be happy to accept new friends, or I'll be happy to talk to a wide variety of different people, or sign myself up for courses. There's a nice fresh vibe that comes in with that token. Then we have silhouette. So this is very connected to appearance, I think, but it's also connected to loved ones and, you know, the important people in our lives. When I think of silhouette, though, I think of how it's not so much the person themselves, but more what they represent that we see. So when I see it, I'm kind of thinking of the people that we admire, not because of who they are as a person, kind of going back to this lost message, but of what they represent or what they present to the world So it could be you really admiring your boss, for example, or it could be you seeing someone and really being attracted to them, but it's not them as a person, it's the illusion or it's the surface of who they are. So that definitely does seem to be a message in June, and it could be referring to a thing as much as to a person, so be aware of that. And then spilled milk. This is sort of getting upset about something that you can't change, crying about something that you have no power over, you know, things happening that stress you out or that make you work harder but you have no control over it because you can't change it, or things that you wish you'd done in the past, you know, guilt and regret, going back to this message of the inner child potentially. Just something to be aware of. I do see June as being overwhelmingly positive for you though, so as much as there is some stress and some like struggle with getting things done, I think that overall it's a very positive month, and that you come out of the month feeling like I've sort of transcended in a way, or I've gone up a real level and I feel like I'm a changed person in a positive way. So that's your reading, group 3. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comments what you thought, because I would love to hear from you. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear how. Please like, share and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. That massively helps me out. It's a lovely way to show your appreciation for what I do, and it means that you'll never miss out on any videos that I upload in the future. Do also check out my links below in the description box and in the comment that I post in the comment section, because they are the ways that you can connect with the work that I do and connect with me further. So I've got my links to my Instagram, my Patreon, my Etsy accounts there as well. So that's where you can book private services, get daily Instagram oracle cards, support me, learn astrology with me. I've got my wish lists linked below for anyone who wants to send in a new deck if you're feeling very generous, like the lovely Cara. Thank you so much again. That's where to do that. And I also have my PayPal link as well for any tips or donations that anyone would like to leave. Thank you so much in advance for everyone who does that. Any amount is very much appreciated and very gratefully received. So thank you again, group 3, so much for being here. Take care of yourself. Have a lovely rest of your day and a wonderful June. And I'll see you again soon. Bye bye. Take care.